Whether we know it or not, design is an integral part of our lives today. It's not a battle of form and function, it's a symbiotic relationship. While most of us are quite familiar with the products that we own, the design process behind them is still a bit of a mystery. NewDealDesign's Gadi Amit is one such designer. He's the mind behind the look of the Fitbit activity tracker and the Lytro camera. A National Design Award recipient, Amit has extensive experience with how these very personal products are conceptualized, designed, and eventually end up in our hands.
So for us, interesting topic about design. Most people look design as something that is exterior. What we're dealing with the interior, with the core functionality, like how you wear it, sizes of human body, like ergonomics, arrangement of parts, and only then we get to the perfection of the exterior surface.
Could you maybe take us through the process of how you got from conception of the Fitbit and then to an actual product that we wear today?
It's actually an amazing story. So we started with the original Fitbit, and at that time we wanted to rethink everything that related to what was then called pedometers, and we wanted to create something that is very friendly to the human body. We actually thought a lot about women and how they carry things, and for instance the fact that this was a clip was driven by that because women have much smaller pockets. So we ended up with this innovative design that actually had a unique architecture with two nodes of electronics. One has the battery, the other one has the rest. And the latest generation is dealing with wrist-worn objects. You could imagine 5 years from now, each one of us will probably have about 10 of these, and 2 or 3 will be customized to some physical or medical needs that we have. 2 or 3 are basically recreational, and 2 or 3 are maybe data-oriented, identity, authentication, and so on.
Now, how much of the design is dictated by the electronics?
It's a very interesting dialogue. There's obviously core functionality that we're trying to get into the product, but sometimes the human qualities are pushing back. For instance, discussion about user interface. Do you always need the biggest screen on the planet? Sometimes you just need to glance over and get a sense that you're more or less okay. You walked 5,000 steps.
So let's talk about Lytro. Lytro is maybe another very recent and popular design that you guys did. How much of this design was dictated by the technology itself?
The design of Lytro was driven by a constraint, and the constraint was actually the optics, the electro-optics. So we decided to build on these and created something that is more of an extension of the lens. So what you see outside is very much what you have inside. It's 2/3 the lens and about 1/3 the battery and the circuitry.
Well, it's remarkable how much it doesn't look like a camera in the traditional sense.
I mentioned earlier the contrarian view. We had alternatives that were much more camera-like. The thing is that we brought this idea, which basically is taken from a very simple gesture, which is the kaleidoscope, very human gesture. And we had to prove a lot, and you see a lot of models here. The funny thing is that we still use these small mock-ups, and they're actually very informative in decision-making.
And so this one is made of like just a block of foam?
That's a block of foam with a tape and a piece of cardboard.
About as low-tech as you can get.
Yeah, and next to it we jump to like 3D weighted and all CAD and all that.
Both Fitbit and Lytro are ideas born of smaller companies. Working with large corporations can be difficult. Amit notes that these smaller teams have more of a passion for design and give designers more freedom to express themselves through their products.
The thing that I really respect both on Fitbit or on Lytro or the new structure, these are companies that create product with a lot of integrity. When you feel the product, it feels like an Apple product. Doing things right and doing things with full intent to be perfect. Really, really important.
How do you think Kickstarter and these crowd-funded type of indie projects have changed the look of design and products for consumers?
So the one thing that they do, they democratize the entry level for developers. That allows people to bring ideas directly to the market. This is structured by occipital. It's a 3-dimensional imager. In this case, Occipital is actually using it as more of a marketing and funding tool rather than just funding. Basically opening up for a community, but there are people who basically start funding the company at Kickstarter. With honesty, I'm a little skeptic. There's a limit to what you can do with this mode, and the limits are both on the level of integrity of the whole venture. You really need to deliver. These are really consumers who are waiting for the product and so on. But one thing it changed very simple human problem. Somebody has a brilliant idea. He or she doesn't get money to fund it. He asks everyone to fund it, and it works. That's wonderful.